So, I after the last class, I felt that I have gone a little bit too deep. And I was wondering whether I should go so deep or not. But because I felt that I was very deep in the last class. I had plumbed to great depths. Generally, people don't like to go so deep. And in my classes, no, that was the deepest I have gone in any class. But then I was wondering whether someone will appreciate or not. But a lot of people watched it, and some 240 new viewers have watched it. So I mean, on YouTube, I'm saying, and many have watched for length actually. And there are a lot of spikes in many places, which means that people are watching it again. Those components where I'm trying to explain things in great depth, some people are watching it again and again to understand. So that gives me a lot of encouragement that I'm not talking in thin air. People are able to follow, and there are some people there who are ready for receiving this message. Just one second. Huh? So what I propose to do slowly, to start teaching also a little bit conceptually, in the sense that many things we are discussing, but there are certain technical things we need to understand if we want to really grow spiritually, because there are things that need to be done. It is not only conceptual discussion, right? So once we know what exactly needs to be done, then I think we can start practicing in our life. But I would like to know from you, Raj, because you have been attending almost all the sessions. In your personal life, how you have been able to apply these ideas, if you have been able to apply consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously, or have you noticed yourself telling yourself, "Oh no, I should not be like this, or I should not be doing this," or some class that we had some discussion kind of informed your decision, your behavior. In that sense, I'm saying.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, from the early, I could make that. If I recollect from, I think we started somewhere in the month of April, May timeframe this year.
Yeah.
And from the time, immediately I could start seeing those behavioral changes, because sir, I was very new to psychology. If I take a step back, when I took psychology, I went through the same phase of it, and this time I was very confident that spirituality will definitely bring in those changes. I came with a positive mindset. I was confident that I'll have too many things to take away from these sessions. So that way, right from the beginning, I was very conscious about what I'm learning from these sessions and what I'm discussing with you, and what are the new concepts. So that way, some of the immediate changes that I could make was especially on my thinking process, in terms of the reaction and so on and so forth. I used to transform workplace pressure at home, vice versa, taking it on something else, displacing my frustration on something else. So I was able to find a little bit of grip on all these aspects of it. And some of the concepts, especially in terms of the reality, in terms of some of those sessions really helped me in changing my behavior, sir, if I put it that way.
So can you remember something specifically which has been more useful to you, which you are able to recall more often? Something?
Sure. Absolutely, sir. Sir, it's all about reality, in terms of how I see a reality versus how others are seeing the reality. And that was one thing. And at the same time, sir, I also understood that the population of people who are seeking the spiritual growth is lesser. So some of the early things that I realized were, not everyone is alike, though we are connected, though each one of us are connected, but we are not thinking alike, and the population of spirituality seeking behavior is very less. So that is something which I understood. And the most important one was so how the actual cells, the biological cells in our body, that is where my eyes got my eyebrow raised, in terms of I never thought of 50 trillion cells experiencing the entire feelings of what we think. Because any feeling that comes to our body, if I'm worried, the reason is not my biological cells, it's the thought process that is coming into my mind. So that thought is actually impacting my biological cells. So that was pretty good one to know. Sir, if you ask me what was the one thing that you still remember and apply, all those negative emotions that we speak about, 8 negative emotions as per psychology, sadness, anger, and so on and so forth, everything is coming out of the thoughts. And every time we go through that, all the 50 trillion cells in our body is going through. So that was one of the things that I could still remember, sir. If you ask me, that comes to my mind first. And second thing, how it impacts my body. So, for example, if I put it this way, I'm addicted to this class. So that way, even today there is a World Cup. I'm okay. It can wait. It will start by 2 o'clock, but still, this is important to me. So that is how I see it. So it's a kind of addiction to me in a positive way. That was the second thing. And third one is this is actually helping me grow. When I speak about growth in terms of corporate, in terms of business, people will always look at financial aspects of growth, promotions, and so on and so forth. But here, the kind of happiness that I get, after understanding my own consciousness level, how it is growing, I cannot quantify it and I cannot show it to people, but I'm experiencing it internally. I'm able to handle my, workload pressure pretty well. I'm able to strengthen my relationship with my family. So these are some of the positive things which I'm experiencing, and I'm seeing,
Are people around you noticing or starting to notice some change in you?
yeah.
Has anyone told at workplace or at family level that you seem to be more happy or something like that?
Not at workplace, sir. Especially at home, I get this feedback from my wife. So these days, you're not worried. Even if breakfast is served 30 minutes, late, you're okay with it. You're not like before. So I'm making those changes because I started understanding others, more, sir, after going through these sessions. So these are some of the transformations which I started making it, and I see a lot of benefits in doing this. Not in terms of anything in terms of materialistic. So I'm also looking at how can I keep my surroundings with a growth intent.
You have children?
I have one daughter, sir. So she's 13 years old.
How about your approach towards her in terms of parenting style or something? Or
Yeah, I have changed it a little bit, sir. So this is the second time I am changing it. Basically, when I learned psychology, about 5 years ago, I took a master's in psychology through Annamalai. So that was my first change. And later on, again, I was going back to the same old style of treating with anger, treating with sudden reactions, then countering it, then directing versus discussing. So now I'm actually switching back to the best mode of parenting: speaking, taking time, being patient. Despite all the pressure that I go through at office, still I ensure that while speak, at least I go with proper mindset.
Yeah, so why I'm asking this, the reason why I'm asking this, so I'll ask Saju also now, because I'll build the class from there, because I'll start teaching also now, because I have been discussing and showing things and materials from different places. But now, maybe from today's class, and maybe if time permits, or from next class, slowly, I'll start teaching some conceptual things and maybe revisiting also some frameworks. And slowly, I need to start teaching astrology also. And I keep talking about astrology because there's a reason. I'm not talking about astrology, which is helping you to predict things. I am going to talk about slowly, astrology as the map of the life process. So there's a divine, you agree, right? And the divine has created everything, you agree, right? We are on the same page so far? You agree, right? So that
Yes, sir.
divine has a certain roadmap for the journey of the consciousness. And when I say consciousness, I mean each individualized spark of consciousness, what we call soul, no? So each of us is individual, right? You agree, right? Each of us is an individual. What Sadhu is thinking is different from what Raj is thinking, from what Rajiv is thinking, from what Rohan is thinking. So even though Rohan is my son, I can't force Rohan to think the way I think. I can only influence him in a positive way. I can't force him. You see what I'm saying? So even with the most closest persons to me, even my own son or my wife or brother or sister or my best friend, I cannot force them. So that shows to you the nature of consciousness as it is manifesting on earth. It is individualized consciousness. And that is a very important thing to understand. Because if you understand that, it prevents you from becoming a dictator. You never try to become a dictator with your son or daughter or someone that you love a lot. You can influence positively, but you cannot force them. And this helps us to save a lot of energy. Now, this consciousness that we are experiencing, it can be experienced in many ways, and many ways arranged in order of depth. So if you are a little bit more superficial in your consciousness, you will have a very shallow understanding of life, or very little understanding of life. You may become very rich also, because you may be a very wonderful, let's say coder or programmer or engineer or singer or whatever. So you can earn lot of wealth and lot of fame also. But when I say you may still be a shallow person, I meant in terms of wisdom, understanding of life. In that sense, I meant. So if you are a very shallow person, spiritually speaking, your experience of life will be shallow. And as a result of that, your values will be more external oriented, outward oriented. You will be more influenced by the external environment, surroundings, people around you, the culture, the fashion trends, you know. So in a way, you are more heavily programmed individual. You are less of an independent person and more of a completely programmed and conditioned person. So in such a case, there is nothing original about you. So, there are three components of our mind. Okay. So, this is like I'm starting to teach now. So, there are three components of our mind. One is your desire aspect, what you desire. Right. Now, the desire aspect is possible to be influenced, by different sources. For a normal person, an animal person who has not become yet human, a very crude and gross person, such a person's desires are completely body centric, completely dominated by the five sense organs, and completely dominated by the desire for pleasure and desire to avoid pain. What Sigmund Freud explained in his theory of personality. I have taught you in theory of personality course, you know that, right? So it is Sigmund Freud's theory of personality is for the gross animal man. Id is dominating. Right. So what he calls id is actually the animal instinct in us, the biological instinct in us. So what happens is that the normal man, I can't call a normal man human also. A normal man who has not made efforts to become human is a biological creature. For a biological creature, id will dominate in Freudian terms. And what is id? That will be basically sense organ oriented, body oriented consciousness. So the desire aspect in that man will be completely biological in nature and will completely seek pleasure and seek to avoid pain. Right. So I can say that this is a desire dominated person. So other two aspects of the mind, they are quite rudimentary and not so well developed. So what are the other two aspects? The second aspect is will. Will. Now what is will? Will is your ability to direct your energies in the direction which you feel is desirable. That is will. So humans have the ability to direct their energy, their physical energy, their mental energy, their emotional energy. They are able to direct according to where they choose to direct. Or it should be like that. I mean, everyone is choosing to direct only, but for a biologically conditioned man, the crude man, the age-dominated man, this choice is completely unconscious, completely involuntary. It's like a reflex action. It is like Pavlov's dog. Famous experiment. If you bring meat, the saliva starts to flow. If you see money, you feel tempted to get it. Whether you steal it or beg it or borrow, it doesn't matter. You are simply like Pavlov's dog. You get stimulated instantly without any control over your biological apparatus. Okay. So in that case also will is being used to go towards the money or the meat. Will is being used, but will is being used unconsciously. It's a completely programmed will. It's a completely programmed will by the desire aspect of mind. It's clear, no? So this is the will and the desire, which is completely dominated by the body and the environment. How environment? Because the satisfiers and threatening objects are both in the environment. So the person's needs are met by things in the environment. So desire aspect of that person can get satisfied only by what is available in the environment. So this person is completely unconscious, and as a result is completely dominated by certain objects in the environment which this person seeks to obtain to satisfy the desires. For example, a video game addict is completely ruled by the video game to which he or she is addicted. Or alcohol addict is completely ruled by the alcohol to which he or she is addicted. And the same. So addiction is an extreme case of desire dominating the consciousness. Any addiction is an extreme case of desire completely dominating the consciousness, and that is the most unfortunate situation. So first source of desire is biological conditioning, which is your past experiences of pleasure and pain, right? Then it can be conditioned by the culture to which you belong. If everyone is wearing faded jeans in your culture, you also crave the best faded jeans. Or if everyone is smoking marijuana, you also want to smoke the best quality marijuana. So this is biologically also conditioned, but culturally also conditioned. Or you move in a certain group and certain things they desire, those desires also you import into your system. So you become completely, like birds of same feather flock together. So your desire and will is completely dominated by the group to which you belong. So one is biological conditioning, in terms of what you were exposed to. For example, in your family, people were drinking tea, and your mother used to make beautiful tea, so you become addicted to tea. That is, that is random, quite random, but it is biological in nature because you got exposed, your taste buds got exposed to a certain kind of a tea, which made you addicted to tea. So this is biological in nature, but there are other things which you picked along the way, like cricket addiction. Now, obviously, if you are in Spain, you may not be cricket addicted, you may be football addicted. So whether you are cricket addicted or football addicted depends upon which country you were brought up in. India is a cricket mad country, so we are cricket addicted. So I'm taking time to explain because it's very important to now understand our mind in a very nuanced way. That is why I start teaching today a little bit. Okay. So I'm like a surgeon trying to dissect your mind completely and telling each bit and of the mind. So that if you don't know the mind, how will you control your mind? To control the mind, you have to know the mind. Mind is very tricky. Mind is the trickiest thing on this planet, right? And the mind is most important. People don't understand. Money is not important or as important as mind, right? Mind means happiness, and everything is for the sake of happiness only, right? This happiness ultimately becomes divine bliss, but ultimately we all are only seeking happiness, but this happiness which is everlasting, that is what we are seeking. Maybe at this stage, everlasting happiness may be a little bit of a pipe dream, at least more durable happiness and more independent happiness, which is independent of external conditions, external environment, external objects, happiness which is my property, happiness which cannot be taken away from me. And this happiness is consisting of peace, clarity, serenity, equanimity, joy, right? Independence, freedom, all these together constitute happiness. Right? You are with me so far? Now,
Right.
desire aspect of man can also be derived from conscious awareness of what is good for me. When desire aspect of man is refined enough to choose those objects, those things, those situations which are healthy for its being, healthy for its development, that shows that man is becoming less animal and more human. This is what differentiates a human from an animal man. So there's an animal man and a human man, and then a divine man. Right? Three levels of manhood. When I say manhood, I mean woman also. There are three levels at which a man can exist: animal man, human man, and divine man. I'm talking about human man right now. But to become human man, one needs to bring one's desire aspect from outside the grip of the biological impulses and the environmental programming. Right. So if I watch a cricket match, if I like to watch, then that is a cricket enthusiast. But if I am forced to watch till the match is over, then I'm a cricket addict. So cricket enthusiast is healthy. Okay. Cricket addict is not healthy. Because cricket enthusiast is still free to use his time for something else also if it is important. But cricket addict has no choice. So whenever choice is taken away, we become animal again. In those moments when choice has been taken away, in those moments at least we are animal again. So if I'm angry and I have to be violent in those moments, I'm again an animal, an angry animal. Right. But when I'm experiencing anger and still I am consciously aware that I am experiencing anger, generally it won't happen. Generally, the moment you are angry, you won't be aware that I'm angry. You will be angry, but the I amness will be missing. This I amness is divine presence, divinity. When you are angry and you are not aware that you are angry, you are only a mass of anger. You are simply exploding in anger. I amness has gone in hiding. The animal man has taken over. Right. So all these negative emotions which grip the consciousness from time to time, they are depicted in Indian culture with the symbology of a snake. Whenever you see snake in Indian culture, it depicts Shiva, isn't it? Shiva is associated with snake. His son Muruga is also associated with snakes. Kerala, no, number one deity is Muruga, right? Associated with snake. How? The peacock Muruga's vehicle is basically something which can kill the snakes in a trice. Snakes are very frightened of peacocks. Peacocks can kill the snakes very quickly. So Muruga, Shiva's son, is capable of killing the snakes very quickly. So Shiva has snakes flirting in his neck, and his son Muruga is riding a vehicle which can kill the snake very quickly. Right. Now another son, Ganesha, is riding a mouse, and the snake eats the mouse. And they are both subterranean creatures. They both live under the ground. Look at the beauty of this symbology. And the snake eats the mouse, and both brothers live in the same house. Right. How it is possible? Shiva has snakes in his neck. Mouse is scared of the snake, and the snake is scared of the peacock, and all three live in the same house. Very beautiful, if you pay attention, very beautiful symbology. What is all this nonsense? Are there three people like that? You think like that? It's not like that. They are depicting very beautiful spiritual processes through symbology. So idea is that whenever you see snakes, the snakes are meant to be tamed, conquered. So when they are playing in Shiva's neck, it means that Shiva can play with these emotions. Shiva can pretend to be angry or can be consciously angry. Let's put it like that. That's better way. Shiva can use anger consciously. Shiva can use violence consciously without his consciousness getting contaminated. Krishna can kill in love. Krishna is Shiva only. So no, Krishna can kill in love. He is killing you doesn't mean he is hating you. In fact, he is killing you to protect your soul from further degradation. You have fallen to such great depths of tamas that he is killing you out of compassion. Because if he doesn't kill you and give you a new body, you will create more bad karma. And he loves you, so he kills you. And since he is God incarnate, he doesn't get tainted by this karma. Because consciousness is untouched. Consciousness cannot be touched by anything. It is eternally pure one. The Bhagavad Gita says that The sense organs play among the sense objects. And I, the consciousness, I am ever untouched. Everything is happening by my presence, but I have never done anything. Such mysterious statements Bhagavad Gita makes repeatedly. And unless you have gone to great depths, you will not understand what he's saying. Those who see action in action, in action, they only see. All these are mysterious statements and they all mean the same thing. They're all pointing towards the same thing, that consciousness is in everything, is manifesting everything, but is always separate from what is being manifested. And that is why what I am saying is very important. When you become angry, do you retain awareness of your anger or not? Is a very, very extremely important point for a true spiritual seeker. Because if you are able to remain aware when you are angry, you have gained mastery over anger. That is what mastery means. You have mastered your anger. What does it mean? It means that your anger is not able to topple your awareness. You are sitting on the throne of your mind as Atman, Brahman, consciousness, Chetana. What is mind and who are you? Mind is a play of feelings, thoughts, emotions from time to time. And you are the experiencer, the witness, the enjoyer, the sufferer of these emotions. Right? If you are not in control, you are the sufferer. If you are in control, you enjoy the play of waves. So you start to enjoy your anger. A master enjoys anger also. A master enjoys lust also, jealousy also. Because those emotions are not able to overpower the awareness, inner awareness. Krishna can have hundreds of wives and still remain untouched. That story I have shared. Durvasa Rishi, after eating a lot, says that tell Yamuna that if Durvasa hasn't eaten a grain of rice or whatever chapati in his life, let it give way to you, and Yamuna gives way to him. So how it is possible that he has eaten so much, and just now he's saying that if I have never eaten anything, he's referring to his consciousness. The body has eaten, not the Atma. And Durvasa is now Atma, not the body. He's a master. Similarly, Krishna tells his wife Rukmini that go and tell Yamuna that if my husband is eternal brahmachari, let it give way. And Rukmini has an objection that no, you are my husband, how can you be brahmachari? You have so many wives. Krishna says you just go and try, and then when she goes, that the miracle happens. So see, both these stories are telling the same thing. When you plumb to such a depth where you are able to remain as consciousness, whatever you do with the body and the mind, they never touch you. So this is a very deep point I am again bringing to the discussion, because suddenly you may be wondering, from anger this man has gone to some other place. No, I have not gone to some other place. If you understand what I am saying, every emotion becomes the same. Every emotion becomes the same, and it applies to positive emotions also. A jnani, a true jnani, is not disturbed by either positive emotion or the negative emotion. Why I am using the word disturbed? I am using the word disturbed in the sense that your kingdom is ruled by you. You are never toppled by anything. You are riding a boat, your boat never capsizes. In good times also you remain centered, in bad times also you remain centered. And that is mastery. Most people think that they are living in a world outside. It is not true. You are living in the mind. The world is being experienced in the mind. You look at any object around you, in your room, wherever you are sitting, you pay attention to any object. Right now you can do it. You can try it. It's an experiment I am suggesting. All of you can look at anything that your eyes can see. Now, is that object outside? Sadhu, is that object outside completely?
In a generic sense, yes, sir.
But is there some mystery in what I am asking?
Yes, I think it's bit more philosophical, more deeply needed to be addressed.
It is not philosophical, Saju.
Sir.
You are using the word philosophical because the way you have been trained, these things are supposed to be philosophy. Everything which is real has been dismissed under a rubric philosophical. Why? Because you are heavily conditioned by Maya, and the world is heavily conditioned by Maya. What you are seeing outside, quantum physics tells is Maya, isn't it? Just because it's an empirically valid reality doesn't mean it's true reality. That is what Maya is. Maya is empirically valid, but really it doesn't exist. And what is empirical validity? Empirical validity is what everyone is experiencing in common. Right? But everyone is experiencing everything in common, but everyone is unable to experience themselves. And hence everyone are swept away by the Maya, what they see outside. But if you now just look at it from another perspective, now science has developed enough for you to appreciate what I'm saying. Whatever you saw, its image was relayed to the brain by the eye or eyes. And what is appearing on the brain or the screen of the brain, that is what you saw. So whatever you're seeing outside is actually a picture that the brain is creating. Stimulus is outside. The stimulus is outside. But the nature of the stimulus, you assume, is in the form of that object because your brain tells you so. But when you look at it with an electron microscope, the picture is different. So when the eyes change, the picture which the brain shows also changes. So eyes are the limiting medium in this example. Right. Now why this is an important point in our discussion is that who are we? We are spiritual seekers. What does it mean? What does the term spiritual seeker mean? The term spiritual seeker means the one who is seeking spirit. Now, what does spirit mean? Spirit means Satyam, the eternal truth of Saju, Rajiv, and Raj and Rohan. That is what we want to know and understand. Why we are seeking? We are seeking because it is told to us that that is what is going to bring freedom from all the miseries. That is what is going to bring us eternal happiness and peace. That is what is going to bring us tremendous clarity. That is what is going to make us divine. From animal man, will become the divine man. Right. But the pathway is animal man, then human man, then divine man. Right. Now, what we are doing in these classes, we are pursuing the Jnana Marg. In my classes, we are pursuing the Jnana Marg. In Jnana Marg, to salvation or to self-realization, you analyze everything deeply. You dissect everything deeply. So, animal man, human man, divine man. So, what we are talking about, and Shiva and Muruga and Ganesha, all that I told, what I'm trying to say, this snake, why snake is being used as a symbol is because snakes are, creatures which live under the ground. And in the spiritual path, we are digging the ground of our reality. Like why I told you to look at an object and try to understand what the object is, where it is, whether it is outside or inside. Because we are trying to dig through the object. We are trying to dig through our own perception of the object. We are trying to reach a deeper place of understanding where we are not completely overpowered by what we are perceiving. Are you following what I'm saying? Just like I was drinking alcohol unconsciously, I do not want to drink samsara unconsciously. I don't want to consume my external reality unconsciously. I have the courage, I have the guts to examine everything. So this path of Jnana Marg is meant for the courageous people. I am willing to understand that my wife is illusion and I am illusion. and my child is illusion, theoretically, without going mad. So this is for analysis only, but when we relate to my wife and my son and my daughter, I relate in a very beautiful and loving way, because this knowledge informs me to be kind and compassionate. For example, I am teaching these things. Do I look like a crazy person? Knowing these things, understanding these things, have these things made me crazy? No. Because my perception has become deepened, I can feel deep compassion and deep love. The effect of realizing these things is the reverse of what normally people imagine and then become frightened. General people tend to run away from this deep exploration because they feel frightened. Now, what feels frightened? The ego feels frightened. Ego feels that if I start thinking like this, I will not be able to enjoy my life. Let the illusion remain illusion. It's okay, but I'm thinking it's real and hence I'm enjoying. Why take away my fun? Will I be able to enjoy the cup of tea when I know it is illusion? I will be able to enjoy. Nothing will change. In fact, I will be able to enjoy more, not less, without getting addicted. This is the power of realization. As you realize more and more deeply, you enjoy everything because everything is your creation. But you don't get addicted. Look at Krishna's life. He enjoyed his life thoroughly. He was a jnani, right? But he was enjoying his life thoroughly. There was always a smile on his face. That smile, so mysterious smile, what was the reason? Because he was completely in love with what he has created and is enjoying. So when you are at that level of consciousness, you enjoy everything without becoming a victim of unconsciousness. So in a way, the snake symbol in Sanatan tradition symbolizes unconsciousness. This unconsciousness manifests in multifarious forms, especially these negative emotions that Raj talked about. Right? And we are trying to dig through the earth under which these snakes live. Not the outer earth, the inner earth. The unconscious, what Carl Gustav Jung called the personal unconscious, the collective unconscious. Sigmund Freud called the unconscious. So that unconscious is symbolized as earth, and that we are digging through. Now, why this unconsciousness is symbolized as earth is because I have told you to do that earlier also, you can do now also. You can close your eyes and try to perceive how much of your body you can perceive. Very little. You remember? Right now you can do that. How much of your body you can perceive? Very little. Maybe 5%, maybe 10%, maybe 2%. So this whole body is immersed in darkness. And darkness is tamas. So this whole body is immersed in tamas. These 50 trillion cells, what they are doing inside, you are completely ignorant of them, isn't it? A thought arises compulsively without your conscious awareness, isn't it? Especially a thought of a like or a dislike. You look at a color, you become attracted to buy that shirt. Is it not an unconscious process? Someone is attracted to the red color, someone to the green color. Is it not an unconscious process? Right? Now we want to go through to a deeper level where we become more and more conscious and less unconscious. Why we are doing it? Because we want to gain freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from compulsive behavior. Freedom from unconscious behavior. So, what we are troubled by? No fear, anxiety, no worries, anger, anything negative in nature, poor relationships, low self-esteem, dependency upon the company for giving me my daily bread, fear of a god sitting upstairs, fear of the devil, fear of the ghost. So many different kinds of troubles we are suffering from. Now we want to break free from all these negative emotions. Right? We want to become more human, first of all, which means more intelligent and more free. and more aware and more wise, making conscious and good choices. That is the first stage. And then hopefully if we can progress further, then we can even reach divine stages later. And there are maps laid out for us, by people who have traveled earlier. I've shown a few maps earlier also. We start revisiting them again. And these maps tell us how much we have progressed on this path. If you remember the 10 stages of the elephant, one elephant and monkey was there. 10 stages, the Buddhists have created this map. Similarly, in our Indian tradition, this Navaratri, the 9 goddesses, the 10 Mahavidyas, all these are maps actually. I'll start exploring them one by one. But today we have started from negative emotions. We have done that earlier also. And we started with the components of the mind. So far I told you, desire is the first aspect of mind. This desire can be unconscious in nature. It can be overruled by the body and the environment. And that is animal man. In such a man, will is completely programmed by the desire. Unconscious desire. Right? But as a man starts to wake up, become more free, grow spiritually, what happens is that desire becomes less and less compulsive and more consciously chosen. Like, for example, there are good books in the library or in your house, or you have access to good books these days. You can buy also from Amazon, from anywhere. And you know that these are good books. How many people, after knowing that these are good books, actually buy and read or borrow and read from the library? Very few, na? Right. But let's say that you have reached a level where you actually buy or borrow good books and read them slowly. Now, if you are doing that, what you are demonstrating? You are demonstrating that your desire is for something which is healthy. And as a result of that, you are using your will in a conscious manner in doing something which is going to be healthy for you. The simple example shows that you have become more human man. And what is the criteria of a human man? The desire and will are functioning more towards healthy choices. That is the sign of a human man. Slowly, addictions are dropping away. You have stopped drinking alcohol too much. You have stopped smoking too much. You have stopped, video games, playing video games too much. You have stopped wasting time too much on social media and whatever. You are using more and more of your time and energy for your own and your family's benefit, your organization's benefit. That is the mark of a human man. So desire and will are a very important aspects of mind. Now the third aspect of mind is intelligence. Intelligence. And these three together constitute the mind in its functioning. When the mind functions, these three things are exhibited. One exhibits either compulsive or unconscious desires, or well-informed and consciously chosen desires. These two possibilities. One displays, again, compulsive will, which is slave to desires, or an independent will, which is able to guide the desires in the correct path. So between desire and will, there is a very great relationship. The will should rule the desire, not the vice versa. But in the undeveloped man, the desire rules the will. It's a very important thing to understand. What is addiction? Desire rules the will. What is intelligent action? The will rules the desire. Okay. Now, in Ramayana, Angad, that character Angad, who put his foot down in Ravan's court and no one could move his foot, depicts that aspect of man, will. So Angad means tremendous will, tremendous positive will. And that particular episode in Ramayana means that when you have reached a certain stage, of development of consciousness, you can go right to the den of Ravan, the devil, which is, the deepest part of the unconscious mind. And every demon in your own unconsciousness, every snake in the unconsciousness, they cannot move Angat's foot. That will, you cannot tempt to drink alcohol if he doesn't want to drink. You cannot tempt to do anything which is for his own detriment. That is what Angad means. In Ramayana, in Mahabharata, in all these old books, great books, each character is representing each aspect of mind. It's very fascinating. So Valmiki is teaching that you can become like Angad. You can go right to the court of Ravan, which is, you can flirt with danger. No, you can go to any weird place. This is path of Tantra, by the way. Tantra path in Indian culture is basically challenging your boundaries, challenging your limits. So the Vahanas mark, you do everything that is taboo, which is going to generally bring depravity of consciousness for normal people. These tantric people, they will smoke marijuana, they will indulge in sex, they will do whatever. They will go to the place where the bodies are burned, and they will spend the night there. They will court with the ghosts. They will do everything which is normally considered craziness. Normal people will think these are mad people, but these people they are called the warriors. That is called the Veer Marg. Veer Marg is, they are directly confronting the unconscious. Thomas says that you should reach a stage of self-control where chocolate is on your tongue, but you don't salivate. The most delicious chocolate, which you used to love 10 years ago, is kept on your tongue, but you don't salivate. What does it show? You're no longer the Pavlov's dog. You have conquered Maya. Chocolate is Maya, and you are consciousness. Till today, consciousness is ruled by Maya. But in the Tantra path, we are trying to conquer the Maya and overturn the tables. We want our will and our desire to be under our control. This is the battle. So as you go along in these classes, you'll understand how every path is aiming at something. There is no craziness. But if you understand correctly the meaning of the purpose of each path, okay. But in the Jnana Marg, the beauty is you don't need to go through all that. You can understand each path. You can understand the inner meaning of each path, and then you can do your own small experiments, which need not be so violent. It can be as simple as saying no to coffee sometimes, saying no to tea sometimes sleeping 1 hour late, sometimes getting up 1 hour early, sometimes not using the cell phone for 2 days. So idea is that you want to gain freedom, and the proof of freedom is your desire aspect and your will aspect are functioning as per your desire, your higher order desire, which is to rule these aspects. Now you'll agree with me that mind cannot control the mind. Is it not? To control the mind, a higher order reality has to come into picture. And I am slowly able to control my mind. So who am I? Am I the mind? Or am I something which is inside the mind and which is the ruler of the mind, which was sleeping so far? You know what I'm saying? I am the real person, the Atma, waking up now, slowly to my own innate power. I am the Chetana waking up, the consciousness waking up. And when I am fully awakened, I will become enlightened. So enlightenment is the goal. I'll take a pause here. I will want to hear your reaction or response. Is the class too tough for you, or are you with me?
Sir, I'm with you so far.
Shaju?
Yes, sir. With you. No issue.
Not frightened, no?
No, sir. No, sir. Okay.
Okay. Because fear is the main barrier. Fear is the main barrier. Maybe not now, but at some point, maybe 5 years later, you may start to become frightened also, because ego will start to feel threatened at some point. I have gone through all these stages, okay? At some point, ego feels threatened. Ego feels that I am dying. And what is ego? Ego is everything that you feel and think today is ego only. Till you become self-realized, everything is ego only. But we have to topple the ego consciously. Amma calls it dying before the actual death. And that requires courage, right? So in a way, this path on which we are traveling, if you progress, at some point of time, your values will go through a tremendous alignment. And that is where you can take any decision about your career, about your life, without any fear. Because, see, outer objects will lose their meaning to you. I mean, money is okay. I also need money. But I need how much money? I'm very clear about that. I don't need more money than what I need. You see what I'm saying? See, what is illusion and what is reality? I mean, in a more practical sense. What is illusion is that your imagination about that object. Right now, you imagine that status is very good. Right now, you imagine that money is very good. Right now, you imagine that Narendra Modi is more lucky than you. But imagine Narendra Modi, for example. Is he more free, or the lowest peon in his office more free? Who is more free? If freedom is something which is precious, who is more free?
Absolutely. The peon.
The ping one.
The peon is more free. Is Virat Kohli more free? Can he go for a haircut just like that?
No, there should be a proper planning, security, people, media.
Can Virat Kohli take a walk just like that with his wife and child?
No.
Superstar, no? You may want to become Virat Kohli, but look at his life. He is miserable right now in those aspects. It's a very cocooned life in an ivory tower. So, what is Maya and what is reality? That is Maya also. Great success makes you also very vulnerable to these kinds of realities. People think you are somehow super normal, superhuman. They start worshipping you, adoring you so much that each person wants one hair from your head. They want to snatch each hair on your head. You will become bald because they want one piece of Virat Kohli. Everyone wants madness. So what is happiness? Is that happiness or is freedom happiness? Neither the peon is happy, nor Modi is happy, nor Virat Kohli is happy. Who is happy? Only a Jnani is happy. Only a Jnani is happy. Jnani can play the role of Modi and still be happy. Amma is playing that role of a Modi. No, she is like a Modi, like whole day and night she is sitting surrounded by people. That is playing Modi only, no? A very busy, very successful person, right? But Amma is a Jnani, she can play that role and still be happy. And Amma can or could have also played the role of a simply unknown Jnani and still be happy. So a Jnani is not addicted to success or to recognition or to lack of recognition. Neither. A Jnani alone can be whichever way he or she pleases. That is utter freedom. That is called Jivan Mukti. You are liberated even when alive. And that is when you are free to serve humanity with utter joy and bliss. Because your bliss and joy don't depend upon outer things. That is why I told, look at the outer object. Does it exist outside or inside you? This is an important point because it exists inside. When you are sleeping, do these objects exist? They may be existing objectively, but do they exist for you? They don't exist, right, for you? Which means that these objects have relevance only when you are awake. So who is more important, the object or you? Are you following what I'm saying, my logic?
Yes.
When you sleep, these objects disappear. When you wake up, they appear. So who is more important? You or the object?
It's us.
Us.
It's me, sir. Yeah.
Aren't you creating the object
Yeah.
in your perception? If you don't cognize the object, will the object exist for you? So you are important. You are the subject. That is why they are called objects. They are called objects because you are the subject. The objects are never happy or sad. You are happy or sad in relationship to the objects. Even if an object, let's say a wife, is happy or sad, you can't experience that feeling. It is for her to experience. For you, she is only an object. So we are all actually trapped or situated in a reality where the same consciousness is playing through all living beings, is experiencing life in multiple bodies at the same time. And each of these bodies present to us as a person. Now, this is a reality which our old books have described again and again. In the last class, we had discussed many pots and through which the same sunlight shines. I had given the example of a sphere and then Earth being a sphere, and on Earth, each one of us being a sphere. If you remember, no, that, or you can watch that video. I've explained in great detail. That is the reality as it is. But we are one sphere in that, or one pot in that, or one person in that reality, what I call society. And in that, I have realized that my experience of happiness can be deepened. My experience of freedom can be enhanced. My intelligent understanding of life can be increased. I can become more and more free and more powerful, and less a victim of circumstances. That is what we are trying to attain. And in order to attain that, we are now trying to understand the pathway. And we are trying to understand the tools at our disposal. Right? So, mind is the tool. Mind is the tool, and mind is also the path. Both it is. We have to travel inside the mind. We travel inside the mind to a deeper place in the mind. Right. So, in a sense, in Sigmund Freud's schema, this whole iceberg that he depicted, the whole iceberg is the mind. And right now we are playing, from the tip of the iceberg. Now we want to play from the depth of the iceberg, which means we have to go from unconsciousness to greater consciousness, greater conscious awareness. See, in my Mysore lecture, if you remember, I had talked about depth and height. I had given an example of a mountain top. So if I want to reach a mountain top awareness, then to reach that level of awareness where everything is visible, I need to first cultivate great depth of awareness. So depth of awareness is important before I can have the height of awareness. So depth and heights are related. You can see this in many ways. Nature mirrors this inner reality. Now, to make a very tall building, you need to dig a very deep base. It's like that. So if you want to, have a very stable personality, you need to dig a very deep base. And this deep base is what is called the spiritual process. Digging a deep base, is called a spiritual process. Last class, we had started discussing what is spirituality, what it means to be spiritual. Right? So this is what it is. We had answered last class, although we are answering again a little bit more deeper. So spiritual process is the process whereby we start to gain more and more control over the mind. There are many ways I can define it. One way I can define it, spiritual process or spiritual path is a path on traveling, on which if I travel successfully, I start to gain more and more control over the mind. Why it is important to gain more and more control over the mind? It's a very important question to ask. It is more important to control the mind more and more, or it is very important to control the mind more and more, because Mind is the medium through which we engage with the outer reality. Mind is what perceives everything. And quality of our perception determines our emotions, our feelings, whether we are happy or sad, whether we feel satisfied or frustrated. So I can state that as is the mind, so is the life. It's a law of life. As is the quality of my mind, so is the quality of my life experience. If my mind is sad, then life looks depressing. If my mind is happy, then life looks very attractive, very good, excellent. If my mind is ignorant, then everything looks mysterious and frightening. But if my mind is very wise and aware, then everything looks so beautiful and clear. When my mind is ignorant, there are so many problems in my life. When my mind is wise and aware, there are no problems in life. Problems vanish. When a wise and aware man comes on the scene, problems vanish, no? And give the leadership to an ignorant man, problems increase. Isn't it? When a really enlightened man is leading, problems diminish and slowly vanish. But ignorant man, give him the leadership, problems multiply. Is it not? That is why we look for good leaders. So what do good leaders have? They have a brilliant mind, clear mind. Right? So if we want to become leaders, we need to develop a great mind. If we want to become great teachers, great parents, we need a brilliant mind. And that is why spirituality is the path which helps us to gain more and more control over the mind. And not only that, it makes our mind brilliant. We shine. We shine because we are living inside a bright mind, brilliant mind. Right? But how has the mind become more bright or brilliant? Because spirit is now more present in this mind. So there is another law of life. Second law, you can write it and you can contemplate about it. And that is why meditation is important. As spirit becomes more and more present inside us, the mind becomes more and more brilliant and wise. So, as I was telling, three components of the mind: desire, will, and intelligence. Right? Now, in a normal animal man, desire is ruling the will. In the human man, will is ruling the desire. How it is possible? Or how it became possible? It became possible because of the role played by intelligence. In the human man, the intelligence is functioning more nicely. In every human man, intelligence is functioning more nicely. This intelligence has become developed and has become wisdom. In the human man, the intelligence has become developed and has become wisdom. And because of tremendous wisdom, this particular mind, this particular person, what I call the person is nothing but the mind only. The spirit reflecting through the mind is called the person. Right? Are you following me? The same spirit is reflecting through all of us, and each person is experienced by us as one personality. Right? So what is mind? Mind is shining as the personality. My whole personality is nothing but my mind manifesting itself, isn't it? I mean, there's a body you see, but this body is displaying its behavior based upon the quality and capacity of its mind. Raman Maharshi had explained very beautifully that what is the mind. He told that, see, there are only two things. One is spirit, other is the material body. But when they interact, they become the mind. He gave a very succinct and very precise definition. Mind is nothing but interaction between the spirit and the body. The 50 trillion cells that you have in the body, when they engage with the spirit, they manifest as the mind. Because they develop feelings, desires, the desires, feelings, thoughts, these are the mind. Right? I'll again take a pause. It's an abstract point. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Does it make you uncomfortable dissecting your own self intellectually?
No, sir. I think, as you said, the depth and height, cannot be separated. If I have to go, go higher and higher, first I need to also go deeper and deeper. So what tells me in this discussion is, before going higher, we have to go deeper. If somebody is going upper or higher, aspiring to upper or higher, by ignoring the depth of it, I don't think so. They'll be able to make that progress pretty quickly. If we have to make the progress, maybe the depth is important. That is where getting to the depth of knowing spirit, knowing mind, so knowing the body, as per Ramana Maharshi, that becomes mind, because we have to go deeper.
Yeah. So, I'll give an example. The famous example, cricket example, Kamli Tendulkar example. Vinod Kamli also gained a lot of success, gained a lot of height. If success is height, he gained a lot of height.
Right.
Sachin Tendulkar's friend, he was also a player, right? Cricket player.
Yes.
He played for India for some time, equally talented.
Right.
But he could not sustain the success. Why? Because sufficient depth of character was not there.
Right.
Character was more shallow, more tamasic. Sachin had a more deep character, more sattvic. Sachin's father was a professor, elder brother was there as a guide. So he was guided nicely by parents, brother. So he was very grounded. He had a good character. He could sustain that success. At great height also, he did not fall. He did not succumb to temptations. Right? So in this discussion, we also bring temptation now. See, what is the purpose of the mind? Purpose of the mind is to guide us, help us live a good, healthy life and contribute to our society, to our family, to the various roles that we play. So, and we ourselves remain happy and healthy and help our relatives, our friends, our family members to also to gain health and happiness. Right? So, that is only possible when your mind has some depth, or you have some depth. So, I'm now using more and more interchangeably. I'm again and again bringing mind, again saying you, because I want to strengthen this understanding in your mind. That your mind and you are the same. They are not two, they are one. For all practical purposes, you are your mind. But still at some points, I will distinguish between you and your mind. Are you following me? I'm not contradicting myself. This is how it is. This is how deeply intertwined the whole reality is. Spirit and matter are so deeply intertwined that they have become one. Raj is one way in which spirit and matter are intertwined. Rajiv another way in which it has become intertwined. Is it not? Can I not say that I am having consciousness in me? Can I not say Raj is having consciousness in him? That consciousness part is intertwined with this material body, is it not? And that is what is speaking right now. That is what is listening right now. Right. But what is varying is the quality of what I am saying. As I am gaining more maturity, what I speak becomes even more powerful and more clear. Is it not? So that is why depth of awareness is important. It helps the mind to become brilliant and brilliant and brilliant and more wise and more wise and more wise. And then what happens? All the mysteries reveal themselves. Then suddenly what happens? No, we don't even need to go to the temple to worship God. We ourselves become the temple in which God is living. Right? So, everyday meditation, when I sit, it's like doing a tirtha, no? People go to different places to do tirtha. I'm sitting in meditation doing tirtha. Because my deity is sitting inside me. Sanctum Sanctorum is inside me, my own heart. How beautiful that is. And it is not a superstitious belief. It is an experienced reality. We can all reach those levels where you are in touch with the inner God. And that is the purpose of spirituality. Amma says there is only one mind. Buddha also said there is only one mind. All the enlightened beings say there is only one mind. Why they say that? Is it your experience that there is only one mind? No, na? I'm sure it is no, right?
Not at this stage, sir.
Your wife's mind is different, your mind is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But these masters are saying there is only one mind. How they are saying that? Are they wrong? They are not wrong. They are not, they are right. But without that depth, you cannot experience that. So as you dig deeper, 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 it is only then you are able to reach that inherent life at the deepest level, which is manifesting as all. So one example which is given is the ocean and the pot. There is a vast ocean, and there are pots in the ocean, and each pot is having the same ocean water, but each pot thinks they are different. But slowly, 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 through spiritual practices, the pots, the boundaries which constitute the pots, they start to become thinner, thinner, thinner. The wheel of Maya becomes thinner, thinner, thinner. And then one day the water inside the pot realizes I am the ocean, not the pot. But after that realization, that particular pot remains as the pot, functions in the society as a spiritual teacher, master, and educates other pots to also attain union with the ocean. That is called self-realization. That is what a role of a teacher, spiritual teacher. A spiritual teacher realizes the spirit first of all within their own inner being, and then start to help other people to realize that true nature. What Ramana called I. In Ramana literature, he differentiated between I and I. I means the personality, and I means the perennial reality, eternal reality of one consciousness. So someone who is able to touch the perennial reality, they can say there is only one mind, only one God. And that is why they teach, see God in everyone. नर में नारायण की सेवा करो. Try to serve God in man. Why they are saying that? Because they have reached that level. I'll again take a pause. Does it appeal to you, at least intuitively?
Sir, it appeals. Sir, can you take us through a little more deeper in terms of...
So, I'll tell you one story.
Masters talking about one mind, sir. Yeah.
I will tell you one story. Shirdi Sai Baba, once it so happened that, one couple had come to see him, and they cooked something, with lot of love. Some halwa or something, I don't know. Some delicacy they cooked with lot of love, and they were bringing it to him to offer him. On the way, one dog, was started following them, and the dog wanted to eat little bit of that thing, and they kicked the dog away because they had cooked it for Sai Baba. And then they came near Sai Baba. He was very angry. He was behaving in a very angry mood with them. And then they tried to find out what happened, and he refused to eat that. Then they begged his pardon, that if we have done some mistake, please pardon us. But why you are so angry with us? We have cooked it with so much love. We thought that you'll eat it. He said, but I came to eat it. You kicked me away. So he was referring to the dog, that I had come, no? So when I came in my real form, you kicked me away. So when you kicked the dog away, you kicked me away. So what he is trying to tell? He is trying to tell these devotees, I am dwelling in everything, in everyone. The dog and me are not different. That is what one mind means. Now that is the living reality for Sai Baba. There is another story, Parvati and Ganesh story. In Devi Puran, I think. So Ganesh, one day when he was playing, he hit some animal with a stick. And when he came home, asked for food, his mother, was bent, and she was not able to walk properly, and she was, crying in pain. Parvati was crying in pain. He said, what happened, mother? And she told, you had hit me, no? So Ganesh had hit a cat, on the waist area, and his mother is having the injury in the waist area. So what Parvati tried to teach Ganesh? That cat is me only. The goddess is living in all. So these two stories I told you. So these two stories tell you the same thing. It used to happen to Ramakrishna also. Often, he will start to scream in pain, and then the devotees will find out that then some lady in the nearby house was screaming in pain, and he was picking her pain. So he had reached those levels where he was experiencing the pain of other people. Now we don't want that. I'm not saying that we should become so crazy that other people's pain we start to experience. That is a miserable existence. But he was, on the Bhakti Marg, and in that Marg he had progressed so much that he had started to empathize with the feelings of other people. The consciousness boundaries, they had started to dissolve in him. Okay, because his path was of the heart, emotional path. In the emotional path, it can happen to people like that. So it also depends upon which path you are traveling. So Ramakrishna's path was of devotion. So in that path, you can start to experience other people's pain. There are some people who are called empaths. These empaths, are very much disturbed by other people's pain. Like, what is happening in Israel, these people may fall ill just by reading a news of that. Or they may start to imagine about the children who are suffering in the hospital. And see, in the world, so many miseries are there. People like Mother Teresa, for example, how they are able to serve them. You see? These are extreme empaths. Mother Teresa was a great empath, tremendously developed empath. Through that path, she may have attained God, sainthood. So there are many different paths. That is the emotional path, Seva and Bhakti. But we are on the Jnana Marg. So in the Jnana Marg, the same blossoming happens, but happens in a different way. In the Jnana Marg, the focus is upon understanding. In the Bhakti Marg, the focus is upon feeling. Okay. Now, Bhakti Marg is easier because it's easier to feel. Jnana Marg is more difficult because it's more difficult to think. Right. But ultimately, it is believed that everything leads to Jnana only. Whether you follow Karma Marg or Bhakti Marg or Raj Yoga, ultimately everything comes to Jnana only. But why Jnana only? Because Jnana is realization. And on this path, ultimately, what you attain? Ultimately, you attain realization. Self-realization. Now, what is self-realization? Self-realization is realizing your own true self. When you are able to experience yourself as living inside the body and yet not the body, that is called self-realization. And after that, you can still live in the body and you can still enjoy life and you can still teach and share your experiences, but you are no longer confused about your identity. Your identity is of the Atma and not of the body. And that is a great difference, because the greatest fear in life is fear of death. Greatest fear in life is fear of death. When you attain self-realization, you transcend, or that fear of death dies inside you. Because you know that you cannot die. You are eternal, immortal. That is why Upanishads pray, Asdoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritangamaya. Mrityurma Amritangamaya. That is the last prayer. In these three sets of prayers, the sequence is very important. Look at the sequence. Asadoma Sadgamaya. Today I know the false to be true. Asadoma. Asadoma Sadgamaya. Oh God, guide me to the place where I know the truth to be true. Today I know the false to be true. So from thinking the false, the body to be true, to Atma, the true to be true. Asadoma Sadgamaya, which means wisdom is important. All this thinking, contemplating, deepening our inquiry is important, because we want to go from asad to sad. For example, taking anger example, I was angry unconsciously. Now I have gained mastery over anger And now I am able to retain my awareness even when I am experiencing anger. So I no longer need to say I am angry. I can say I am experiencing anger. And when I am saying I am experiencing anger, I am being truthful. In this case, have I not gone from asat to sat? Earlier I was saying I am angry, which is asat, false statement. It's a false statement. You are not angry, you are experiencing anger is the correct statement. Now, is it self-realization? No, not yet. But it's a great step on the path. Are you following me? Have you got now better control over your anger? You told no, Raj, that you have better control over your anger now.
Yes.
Earlier you used to vent your frustration.
Yes.
Now you are able to retain some control. How it is possible to retain control unless you are aware? This is a very important point.
Yep.
Can I tell that you are more aware now of your anger?
Yes.
So that is moving from asadoma sadgamaya. Now, by pointing it out to you consciously, your awareness may have increased even more right now. Next time when you experience anger, try to retain this awareness and try to be conscious about this. It's important. Why it is important? Because if you can become even more conscious about your anger, you will have gained more consciousness. Why it is important? Because consciousness is power, Shakti. In spiritual path, Shakti means more consciousness. It's a very important point. You have gained more Shakti, more power. You are spiritually more powerful now. Now Maya is less able to topple you. Okay. So once, I had been asked on Quora by someone, sir, is Prakriti the same as Shakti? It's a very important answer I have given. Many people think they're the same. It's not the same because E is equal to mc square. So mass is energy and hence everything is mass, everything is Shakti. That is what people think. Energy means Shakti in Sanskrit. It is wrong. Wrong understanding. Prakriti is matter, all right. But Shakti is not the gross physical energy. Shakti as used in spirituality is not the gross physical energy. Shakti is the greater presence of divinity. That is why Amma says, Shiva Shakti Ek Rupinya Nama. Any puja which Amma will conduct, no, it will end with this loka. In the end, we chant Shiva Shakti Ek Rupinya Nama. That is the ultimate weapon that Amma uses. Now, when I came new to Amrita, I used to contemplate about it. What she is telling and why she is telling the same thing, whether Rahu Puja, Sani, doesn't matter. In the end, she will say that only. Which means this is the mantra which will dissolve all negativity. So what he says, Shiva Shakti Agrivanam now means Supreme Truth Shiva and Shakti are the same. That is the mystery. So as you cultivate Shiva, Supreme Consciousness more and more, that Supreme Shiva is like an ocean, a gigantic ocean, transcendent Brahman. It is there, but not of any use to me. River is there, you are thirsty, but you don't know the way to the river. Can you drink water? You will die of thirst, no? So Supreme Shiva is there, but you are dying of misery. You are sick, you are poor, you are exploited by 100 people. You are completely helpless right now. Then what is the use of Shiva? Shiva is useless to you. And what is the use of being told that you are Shiva? It is useless information. Let's say that I have told that Sadhu is Shiva. Now Sadhu can go home, no? What is there to be done now more? Already I have told him. Then why I am teaching and blabbering like a madman? Sadhu, you followed me?
Yes, sir.
So Jnana Marg doesn't mean theoretical knowledge. Jnana Marg doesn't mean theoretical knowledge. It means a path in which we first learn the theory, then we practice the theoretical insights till we start experiencing the truth of these statements. Guru says, Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. But then the disciple or the student has to realize this in his own experience. And since Amma is a master, she keeps pointing the same reality again and again. After doing all hundreds of pujas, she will say, Shiv Shakti Ekrupanyan. Because I'll tell you that is the supreme truth. You are, so what does it mean? It means, my child, you are experiencing misery because you are Shiva, you have lost your Shakti. She is pointing to the same thing. So if you want to dissolve all miseries, gain Shakti. You have given your power away. Start to claim your power back. That is what it means. How will you claim your power back? The one which has overpowered you is very mighty. Right? So you can only gain your power back slowly, organically, step by step, baby step by baby step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And every day we take that first step. One step, one step, one step. And before we realize, we have traveled far. And that is the spiritual process. So I have answered now, what is the spiritual process? The spiritual process is the process by which we slowly gain ourselves with more and more Shakti. And as a result of that, we gain more and more control over mind. So in my earlier definition, I had only told about gaining control over the mind. Now I brought another idea, Shakti. How do you gain control over the mind? You gain control over the mind by cultivating greater and greater Shakti. How you cultivate greater and greater Shakti? You cultivate greater and greater, first of all, wisdom, the Jnana Shakti, the Vivek Shakti, which is called the power of discrimination. So Asadoma Sadgamaya becomes meaningful. We start to understand what is false and what is true in each situation. Let's say that my company gave me the pink slip, right? And now I no longer have a job. Now there are two options. I can blame the company of being unethical, of being very cruel, or I can look at myself and empower myself so that I become again fit to be employed and maybe not be laid off again, or maybe become an entrepreneur, or maybe find some other way of making money. What is the reality? Can I really earn my money without dependency? Or is it that someone else will always give me the money? What is the correct reality? If someone will not give me money, will I die of poverty? Is that the reality?
No.
That is not the reality. So reality is that I cultivate my own inner power. So like that, in life, everything, or my girlfriend ditched me and ran away, and hence I am in depression. Is that a correct statement? See, today you are without the girlfriend, and before you knew the girlfriend, you were without the girlfriend. So you're in the same situation, no? But at that time you were not depressed, now you're depressed. How can you blame the girlfriend? It's a funny example. But logically I'm right, no? No girlfriend at that time and no girlfriend now. Why are you depressed now? How can you blame the girlfriend? In fact, she gave you so much pleasure for so many years. Where is the problem? Problem is that you gave your power away to the girlfriend. Your power to be happy, you gave away to her. So again, bring the Shakti back. So in psychology, we call that, what was that? Cathexis. You cathected the girlfriend very powerfully. So that cathexis you have to break with awareness. It is Jnana Shakti. This is the Jnana Shakti. So with Jnana Shakti, we learn that I had given my power away. I had become dependent upon my girlfriend for my happiness. I had become addicted to her. I had become addicted to her, maybe very powerfully addicted to her. Okay. Now someone may say that, sir, you are being very gross and very vulgar. How can you laugh at my misery like this? No, but this is a Jnana Marg class. In this class, we will not have pity on you. In this class, we will mercilessly dissect the experience. This mercilessness is of a surgeon. There is a wound or something. The patient says, please don't touch, doctor, please don't touch. I will cut it and operate it, no? But after that, when you recover, you will be so happy. You lost a bad thing, not a good thing. But you want to cling to the bad thing and suffer the misery. Oh, my girlfriend ditched me, let me cry. Surgery. Use your knowledge power, Gyan power to do surgery. Take out that part, that wound in the heart. Take it out. It's unnecessary. Just think, when you did not meet the girlfriend, you were happy. And today she has vanished. Why you are sad? Same situation. If you could be happy with your girlfriend earlier, you can be happy today also. Your girlfriend did not bring happiness. You already were happy without her. In fact, she took away your happiness because of your ignorance. So what I'm trying to say, even a girlfriend is an object only, you are the subject. Never give power over your own power of happiness to the object, no matter who the object is. Same thing, Buddha taught in a more compassionate way. One lady had lost her child, her only child. She brought that child to Buddha and told, Master, you are so powerful, you can do anything. You please give life back to my child. Buddha said, okay, mother, I'll do what you say, but first you do one thing. You go to the whole, city, every house in the city, and bring me wood from every house where no one has died ever. Okay. After you have done that, in the evening you meet me. She went house to house, house to house, house to house. In no house she could get a single piece of wood, because in every house someone had died at some point of time. Then, by the time evening came, she was coming back breathlessly. By that time, this wisdom dawned upon her, what Buddha was trying to teach her. That death is something which is inevitable. Right? And then she became a disciple, and then, it is said that she progressed a lot spiritually under Buddha's guidance. My point is that, even in the case of our own child, the only child, we cannot give our happiness away if this person dies, ultimately. Because happiness is our very basic innate nature. We need to only broaden our horizon. Souls come, take form, and then they die and they go to some other dimension. But the child's soul did not die. So in the Jnana Marg, what happens? We educate ourselves. We learn about these things. Then what happens? We become more and more detached from inside. Tremendous attachment causes us to give away our power. In this World Cup, India is playing like this. Why? Because the captain, Rohit Sharma, is not having attachment towards his wicket. He simply decided, I will play my strokes. He has simply decided, I will play my strokes. And he's going, like that, playing like that. So what has happened? His mind is completely liberated. Now, when you are in that kind of a mood, then the bowler, if he's lucky, he can get you out. But if he doesn't get you out for 3-4 overs, you have done a lot of damage. And then you are the best stroke maker in the whole world. He is the best stroke maker in the world, according to me. Rohit Sharma is the most talented stroke maker right now, isn't it? I don't think anyone comes even close to him in terms of talent for stroke making. So the most brilliant stroke maker in the world has decided, I don't care for my wicket. And he's the captain. So what is happening is that he's leading by example. Suddenly all these people, Rahul and Shreyas Iyer and Subman Gill and everyone is playing like the captain. And only Virat Kohli has been told that your job, because there are two superstar batsmen, one Kohli and other Rohit, both are equally good. So Kohli has been told that no matter what, you don't get out. You don't get out, and we will all play our natural game. But you don't get out. A very brilliant strategy. And it is working so far. Hopefully it will work today also. Now what I'm saying is that, so this is the power of Jnana Marg. When your wisdom is intact, no, everything happens very nicely. It's not that you will win all the time, but chances increase. And more importantly, you're enjoying the game because you're playing, uninhibitedly. And the moment the anxiety, the fear comes, what if I get out? What if this, that? The moment you start thinking like that, the mind loses half the power. Now, what if there is a mind which plays like this the whole life? In Three Idiots, also there was one scene which I liked a lot. That boy who had jumped from that building and he had become crippled for some time. On one of the Three Idiots, now that job interview was happening and he was giving a bindas interview. He was speaking from his heart. The HR fellow was taken aback. If you have seen that movie, in that scene, the climax scene. So he says, no, if you talk like this, we will not give you the job. And he says, doesn't matter, your job. I have found myself. I have found my inside, inner being. Who cares about your job? If you don't give it, it's okay. And he starts to go back. And then that HR fellow calls him back and says, no, Baba, how will we find a gem like you? You are a gem. So that is very true, actually. If you are really like that, very spontaneous, very free, you don't care about your job, but you do your best for the job. That is when you're a liberated employee. You're a liberated professional, liberated teacher, a liberated batsman. Doesn't matter which role you are playing. You can play your role to perfection. But the moment fear comes, everything is spoiled. This is the way we are meant to live. But we can live like that only if our mind is in our control. When you desire something very strongly, to that extent you become weak. Why? Because there's fear of not attaining or fear of losing what you have attained. Right? But when you dig deep, you reach a place in the inner being where you are no longer your mind. You are no longer your body. You are living inside your body and you are using the mind. Then what happens? You are already happy. You are now using an activity to express your happiness. You are using your body to spread happiness. You are using your life to teach everyone. That is real living. Where living becomes playing. It becomes like a sport. So my desire as a teacher is to convert spiritual process into a sports. All over the world, people can play it like a game. It has been made very heavy with temples and mosques and churches and whatnot. It's nonsense. I have found the God inside. And I have found this God inside me by being a sportsman. And my method was what? My method was, I'm teaching you my method. I have always used my life circumstances and my experiences as net practice. So how much insult I can take without becoming disturbed? That is my net practice. You give me galis, you insult me, humiliate me, you do whatever. But do I become disturbed or not? That is my game. And more I become undisturbed or remain undisturbed, more my Shakti grows. Shiva cannot be disturbed. So I have this awareness. Shiva cannot be disturbed and I am told I am Shiva. So let me drink this poison, what he is trying to give me. Now what is happening here? Now this is the power of Asdoma Sadgamaya. I have learned about a true thing. That I am Shiva. Not this mortal frame. And that eternal God, how can you insult? Like if I spit at the sky, will the spit reach the sky or fall on my face? So this is my method. I remember once in I am Kozhikode, I had gone to teach 2007. So I had gone 3 times. So there was a certain student who was very fond of me and he used to bring tea and all for me. And so I had developed a good bonding with him. And other students also, but he was someone with whom I had a special equation. Then in the third visit, no, in the last class, I just asked for feedback. And then this particular student gave me the most vicious feedback. And I was very taken aback. Because I had developed some kind of bonding with him. So I became very disturbed. And in the whole way back, I was thinking and ruminating about this boy. But since I'm a spiritual practitioner, I could retain my temper and equanimity, and I could handle the class nicely without overreacting. But this thought was keeping on disturbing me. But then, as I kept, my inner awareness as much as possible with me, slowly, I was able to overcome this. And 2 days, 3 days later, I had reached a place in my heart where I could smile at this experience. And I could understand that, see, I had become attached to this fellow. Now, this is my method. So 3 days later, this memory no longer disturbs me. It amuses me. What amuses me? My own innocence and ignorance. And also that I have grown in depth. So now in the future, if something like this happens, it will not disturb me. So this is, you convert the pain to greater depth. Now Amma gives an example that once a donkey was being buried, in a dry well. The people were pouring the mud in the well to bury the donkey. But the donkey was very clever. He was shaking off the mud and climbing on top of the mud that they were throwing. And in this process, what happened ultimately, the donkey came out of the well again. So the people were so impressed by the donkey's smartness, they did not kill him. Okay. So the owner, kept him with him. So Amma says that spiritual people are like that. When people pour mud on you, try to bury you in the dry well, you use it to come up. So this lotus that you see, in Indian tradition, is growing in the mud, is eating the mud, but is becoming lotus. So you see this Shiva and this lotus, they are very similar. In the churning process, this poison came. Shiva drank all the poison. What does it mean? This is what it means. When you start working upon the mind, people around you may become more and more disturbed initially. They may try to test you even more. They may try to give you more poison to drink, but you have to drink the whole poison. So see, Nilkant means you hold everything here. Don't express your negative emotions in a violent manner. Hold it here. But don't repress the emotion. Don't repress the emotion. If you repress the emotion, that will be ignorance. Then it will cause you psychosomatic illnesses. But in the spiritual path, when you are a conscious practitioner, you are aware that you are trying to grow your inner Shakti. You are basically what you are doing. So what is this? I'm trying to teach you my method. So what I used to do, no, I'll go alone and I'll sit and I will experience that experience in a very, very conscious manner. Then what happens? I'm feeling pain, sadness, right? Then what I noticed that since I'm experiencing great pain and sadness, my breath will become very deep. See, normally when you are sad and depressed, and you are not aware, your breath will be very shallow. You will not be using your lungs a lot. But when I'm paying conscious attention, I noticed that this was my experience. My breath became very deep and very heavy for some time. And I'm in a room, in my own cabin, and I'm doing this. I'm not doing consciously, it's happening. My system needs a lot of oxygen, lot of prana. And it will happen for half an hour, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. My physical body is experiencing tremendously deep breaths, upheavals, very fast and deep breaths. And slowly, the breath becomes very deep and slow and more rhythmic. And after half an hour, 45 minutes of doing this, not only your breathing becomes normal and deep, these emotions start to become settled, dissolve, weaken. Not only that, a lot of amazing insights, brilliant insights start coming about the whole situation, how it developed, my past situations in my earlier life, in my childhood, in my college days, my student days, engagement with my father, with my brother, with my friend, with my mother, with my wife, so all kinds of situations, the higher mind, the divine mind inside me is bringing to my attention. There's a deep intelligence inside everyone. That intelligence is bringing everything for me to notice. And then a connecting thread, in terms of some insight or some insights will arise in me. Okay, this happened because of this. This student, had won over my heart with his very polite, humble, and good behavior. So I had started loving this student. And because I started loving this student, I gave my power away to this student to hurt me. Then when he behaved in that fashion, then what happened was that my expectation from him had been betrayed. So it means unwittingly or unconsciously, I had started expecting that he will love me and respect me forever. But when he did not behave according to the pattern which I had created for him, when he behaved unexpectedly, that is when I became hurt. Which means that my subconscious mind had become biased with respect to him. This is what is called cathexis in psychology. I have cathected very strongly in a positive manner to the student. And that is why when he is betraying me, that cathexis is causing me to experience this pain, emotional pain. So in future, I will not do this. So in future, when I am teaching and some student is very good and is behaving very nicely with me, I will not cathect in the same manner. I will let the teacher-student remain a teacher-student relation. I am trying to give knowledge and he's trying to gain knowledge. I'm not here to give my heart away. It's not a love relationship. It's a teacher-student relationship. And also as your awareness goes deeper, as you're trying to teach spirituality, if you yourself are attached, then how can you teach spirituality? Because spirituality means detachment. So as your knowledge or your understanding becomes deeper and deeper and deeper, you start to experience greater and greater depth of spirit inside you. So in my case, what has happened is that day by day, year by year, month by month, the locus of my life has shifted from here to somewhere very deep within me. Most people experience themselves most of the time here in the head somewhere. Right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Where do you experience yourself, Raj, Saju, Sachit? More often than not, when you're not paying conscious attention, where do you experience yourself?
Generally,
in the daytime.
I think it happens in the brain is what my general understanding. Maybe that is how I.
Raju?
So is my case, sir. I feel it in body.
Sachit, if you're listening to me.
Yes, similar to through the senses is what we kind of experience.
Most of the time, when you're not paying conscious attention, you're experiencing yourself in the brain, in the head. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most people experience themselves in the head. I also used to experience myself in the head. I don't experience myself in the head now. I experience myself in somewhere within me, which is not in me. I experience myself somewhere within me, which is not me, not part of my body. I experience myself in some space inside. Difficult to explain this, but that space is living through me. It's a conscious space living through me. And my ego boundaries have melted quite a lot. Ego still is there, boundaries are still there. I'm not claiming that they have dissolved completely, but they have become very amorphous and very, very transparent and very, very, what shall I say, less overpowering. Maybe that is the correct expression. Earlier, they were very, very, I even will not say very overpowering. They completely ruled in me when I started the path. But slowly, they have been melted sufficiently to an extent where I experience myself not in my head, not in my heart also now, somewhere beyond, within, at a great depth. And as a result, what is happening to me? I'm always happy most of the time. Sometimes I do get irritated, I do get disturbed, I will not tell a lie, but they are like a pinprick compared to what it used to be earlier. What will be a greatly shocking experience also is now a pinprick to me. So, more and more I'm becoming courageous and expressing myself more freely, and I intend to start sharing more and more. I have another channel on astrology. I may start sharing content there also. Astrology and spirituality without classroom format, simply from my side. Because this knowledge that I have got, I want to now share, because before I die, I want to pass it on to the culture, larger culture. First of all, I would like to hear from you how seriously you take me. Do you think I know something, or do you think I'm telling a lie?
So we seriously think, what we can't even imagine, and that is important for a peaceful living, if I put it that way, sir.
Yeah, no, it is very important for the student to trust the teacher. Otherwise, the relationship cannot start itself. How about you, Sachit? You think I know, or I am simply telling?
Definitely, sir. That's why we are here every day, every Sunday. I mean,
Yeah, so
definitely we trust.
It's a very important thing, and it's the first time I asked you specifically because it's very important to me also to know where I stand vis-a-vis you. Okay, so if you trust me, then I will really teach, and I don't care about the whole world. We simply put the video on the YouTube. If someone watches, okay, doesn't matter. But if 3 or 4 are also here, it's good enough. We don't need a crowd, right? People may come, people may go, but if you trust me, then I will now tell a few things. Okay. One, there is a truth. Two, this truth needs to be realized. Three, if you don't realize this truth, your life is wasted. Human life is wasted. Four, you can realize the truth. Five, effort needs to be made to realize the truth. Six, there are immense benefits of realizing the truth. What is that benefit? You become a king. Right now you are a slave. God is a king, not a slave. And each one of us is a god in reality. The beauty is that, in fact, you don't become God. You are already God. You just have forgotten it. That is the beauty. In astrological terms, Raj, I will teach you also astrology slowly, don't worry. In astrological terms, Saturn is ruling the outside world. Saturn gives you the fruits of your karma, and Saturn is the Yama and decides where you will go after death also, and decides how you will live in this life. Saturn rules destiny. Okay, and Saturn is the devil also. That is why Sun, the father, doesn't like Saturn, the devil. I'm exaggerating and dramatizing. Idea is that there is Sun, the beautiful transcendent Brahman, Atman, and there is Saturn, the shadow side, Chaya Putra. It is telling Sun that you are not the Sun. You are a laborer. You are the masses. You are a puny little creature on earth, and you will one day die. Right? This is what Saturn says. But Sun says, no, I am Atman, I am Brahman, I am eternal, I am immortal, I will not die. So Sun, the father, is the Atman, and Saturn, the son, is this child of ignorance. Chaya was the mother, no? That is the mythology. Chaya was the mother. Sun produced Saturn, by communing with Chaya. His real wife had produced her Chaya, and he thought Chaya is his wife. But that was the Maya of his wife. Okay, and he had sex with that Maya, and Saturn was produced. But since it was the child of Maya, illusion, that is why Saturn is like that. So this is a mythological story where the real meaning is Sun is the Atman. He communed with this Maya or this Chaya, which is a illusion. That wife, created an illusion. She resembled the wife, but she was not the wife. So idea is that she was not the real wife, a pseudo wife. So pseudo child was produced, and that child has no quality of sun. Sun is optimism, light, eternal, immortal, the king. But the child thinks that he or she is a laborer, average. He has to survive somehow by eking out an existence. He has to earn his daily bread. Progress is possible only if you work very hard, slow, gradual steps. And Sun says there's nothing to be achieved, no progress to be made. I am the eternal Brahman. The Sun is the God. What will God achieve by growing? I am already the omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Brahman. So in astrology, what is happening is that we are depicting deep truths as symbols. Atma is depicted as sun. But in anyone's horoscope, the sun that you see is not the Atma which is unblemished or completely free. And why that has happened? Because the moon has become trapped. What is moon? Moon is mind. Mind has become trapped by whom? Saturn. Into believing that you are this puny little body and that you will die one day. Saturn has convinced the moon that you are a puny little body. And Saturn comes to judge moon, life after life, even after death. And moon is in a trance, hypnotic trance. Cast by whom? Saturn. No, I'm not talking about Saturn, I'm talking about this whole reality. This whole reality, Saturn is the ruler. Devil is the ruler. It's a game God is playing with himself. So symbolically, in the exterior world, laws, principles, they govern the existence. These laws and principles are created by Saturn. So Saturn is the king outside, in the outside world. Matrix movie. In the Matrix movie, this Neo and one more character is there. Neo is the guide and the student is his name I forgot. I don't remember.
Morpheus and Neo, right?
Morpheus and Neo, right? Morpheus, yeah. So there is one scene where they inject something into Morpheus, red pill or blue pill, something like that. One pill he chooses, and that pill when he takes, in that dramatization of that scene, his whole head and his whole consciousness, his whole system goes through convulsions because there's tremendously deep churning of the consciousness. And then the new Morpheus, which results from that process, is the enlightened Morpheus. He can see like Neo. Sachit, you have seen the movie, Sachit?
Yes, sir. Neo is the main character. I think Morpheus gives it to Neo and Neo experiences it. Yeah.
So that pill, after taking the pill, something happens, right?
Yeah, yes.
The consciousness becomes completely transformed into enlightened consciousness. So unless you become enlightened, the world seems to be the way Saturn is presenting you. You see limitations everywhere. You see poverty everywhere. You feel anxious. Where will you get your future money? You feel you can lose everything if you don't behave correctly. That is Saturn. Pessimistic principle. You become ill. You think doctor will cure you. But if you had the solar consciousness, Amma's consciousness, Sai Baba's consciousness, do you think you need a doctor for curing your physical ailment? The Amma who can cure cancer of other people, she can't cure her own ailment. An avatar is playing with the body, she's only playing with the form. She's only using the body to teach others. Are you following me? There's a novel Alchemist where the San Diego and the Alchemist interaction are beautiful. You must read Alchemist if you have not read. There's a scene where the tribal people are trying to capture both of them. Alchemist becomes the wind and vanishes. San Diego becomes trapped. Okay. There's a beautiful scene in the movie, in the story. They both fall in some danger. They're having an adventure together. So Alchemist is the guru and San Diego is the disciple. The guru being a magician, no, he simply vanishes as the wind. He becomes the wind and goes away. Because he is not the body. He has the art of converting his body into wind and it goes away. Very, very touching scene. And Santiago gets trapped. Later he learns himself also. He himself becomes an alchemist. So this is what is the process of real spiritual teaching. And this is the process of real spiritual growth. You are basically trying to learn alchemy. No, they try to convert base metal into gold. Actually, that is a fallacious project. The real project is what happens to you when you are trying to convert base metal into gold. That patience that is required, that transforms you. So idea is that you need to work upon yourself very patiently, very perseverantly, and have a lot of faith in the process. Last time I had told you need knowledge of the right process. Have faith in the process. Remember, then follow the process, then have patience, and results will come. Like Raj started today's class by saying that in April, May we started, and in 6-7 months, how much you have grown, right? You shared that. Which means that you are following the right process. And you also told that you are not addicted to these classes, which means that these classes have value for you. Which means that the way I am delivering these classes does have value for some serious people. And that also tells me your soul is not a new soul. You have done this in past lives. And that is what is being rekindled. The memory is being rekindled. Okay. So today's class was also maybe more weird than last class. It's becoming more and more weird day by day. But it will again become, normal slowly. Because I now know that you are all with me. And you will not be skeptical about what I'm sharing. So I'll be sharing now more and more things with you. But you can trust me, there's a reason why I'm sharing. So I will share with you astrological knowledge also, if you don't mind. Now I'll tell you why I'm doing it, because not to make you into predictors, seeing horoscopes and predicting. No, that is not my objective. My objective is that astrology is a great map of the entire process. Right from the body consciousness to divine consciousness, everything can be seen in astrology. Are you with me? The sky around us, the way God has made it, and the heavenly bodies that rotate around us, the sun and all the stars, the planets, they are made intelligently. In this nature, everything affects everything else. It's a fact that these planets and sun affect our consciousness. It's not a fiction. Now we need to know how they affect us. Why we need to know? Because God has made it like that. You can read about a particular incarnated soul's life path, what they are meant to experience, why they are experiencing what they are experiencing, and what is the purpose of this life. If all goes well, what is the wisdom that they need to gain? What is the maturity that they need to gain? What God wants them to learn in this body, in this life. All that can be seen in your horoscope. And the nature of life itself, the tamasic tendencies, the rajasic tendencies, the sattvic tendencies, everything can be seen through astrology. Also, like in music, we have 7 notes. This life is played through the characteristics of each planet. So very quickly, I will take you through all this. So sun is called the king and moon is called the queen in astrology. Why sun is called the king? Because sun is the ruler of the universe. In the solar system, you can see everything is gaining light from sun. And light is the most precious thing. Light is the most precious thing. Now, in this case, sunlight that you see outside is a symbol for the Atma's light inside us. Sun is the Atma. Just like in the solar system, sun is the center and all planets revolve around the sun. In our system, like Rajiv as a system, if you compare Rajiv to a solar system, Rajiv's Atma is the sun. Okay. And Atma is the king. Just like sun is the king in the solar system. What it means is that everything else in the solar system is meant to serve the Atma. Because king is the owner, no? King is the owner, right? The whole palace belongs to the king. So sun is the Atma. And if a person understands astrology intelligently, they will understand also that God has made life in such a way that when you become a human, and one day when you become a spiritual seeker, and one day when you meet a real spiritual teacher who has himself become enlightened, then you will learn that you need to give the most importance to your own Atma. That is the king, and that is the meaning of sun being the king in astrology. I am sure, Raj, no one told you this.
Absolutely, sir. I have not read this. Neither anybody told me about
You will
it.
never read about it because
Yes.
only an enlightened astrologer can tell this. So the reason why sun is called the king is this, that you, that is Raj, should give maximum importance to your Atma because your Atma is the king. And who is the Atma? It is you, Raj. You are the Atma. If you don't give maximum importance to your own Atma, which is you, Raj, you are being an utter buffoon, a foolish person. You have been kidnapped into believing that you are a slave. You are not, you are a king. But having learned from me this, don't go and misbehave with your boss in the workplace. This is meant for internal relation, not for outer boasting. This is only a theoretical, hypothetical reality. Sadhu, it's a very important teaching for you because you come from little bit, lower middle class. This is an important learning. You are the king and not the slave. You are doing a job just because you are supporting your family, but you are not a slave. This is very important. Subconsciously start to cultivate this belief system. Right now it's a belief only, but a very good belief system. Start cultivating this. I am the Atma, I am the sun, I am the king, I am not the slave of Saturn. I seek and I desire immortality, and I will get it in this lifetime. Cultivate this belief system. This is solar belief system. Solar belief system will infuse the light of the spirit inside the moon, which is your own mind. Your mind needs a lot of confidence. From whom? From sun. So moon is the queen. Sun is the husband. So in Indian system, without the husband, the wife is the widow, right? Right? She is not even allowed to dress up properly and to decorate herself and do makeup and all. And she is supposed to wear white clothes. What is symbology here? Symbology is that without the sun, moon is a widow. If moon is not experiencing the solar light, she cannot experience herself as a queen. The mind cannot feel the confidence that the queen will feel in her husband's palace. So you as the Jiva, the living being, the moon, you are not experiencing this world as the play of your husband, the God. So that is what goddess means. This goddesses, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali, they are resplendent, powerful, happy. Why? Because they are God's wife. They are the moon. Poornima ka moon, full moon. So in Sanatan Dharma, the purpose of life is to become a full moon. How beautiful that is, Raj.
Very beautiful, sir. Because while I was reading, while I was a student of astrology, we were only given the definitions. For example, moon represents mind, emotions. It's ruled by this one. It's a female planet. So that was the textbook, this one. But I'm able to now connect in terms of how are we moving, how are we reading the entire solar system, stage by stage.
So the way I am teaching now, if God gives me a long life, and if I keep teaching like this for 10 years, I'm very sure that I will bring about a revolution on this planet. Because by Amma's grace, I have learned things which no one knows on this planet. My path to enlightenment has been this knowledge path. I am a Gyan Margi. Through Gyan, I have awakened. Are you following me, Saju? Because why I'm telling you, Saju, because you only look at me as your PhD guide, but I'm not only that. My main role is not that. I'm a Gyani basically. I'm only playing a role. Okay. And I don't know how long, because things are becoming more and more difficult for me. In the sense that my soul is now ready to break free and forge my own path. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole world, when I see, I feel so much compassion. Because internet and YouTube is giving me hope that I can awaken the whole planet.
Sir.
Because everyone is sleeping. And it is a great service to be done. So you are the moon and you are the sun. As soul, you are the sun. As living Saju, living person Saju, you are the moon. All your feelings, dreams, hopes, aspirations, desires, they represent the moon. They are the moon. So don't you want to live a glorious life of a glorious moon? A
Yes,
rich
sir.
life of a rich moon?
Yes, sir.
So don't you want to become rich, beautiful, abundant, filled with joy? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is what is the purpose of spirituality. To put the sun back on the throne and to have a beautiful life like a moon, full moon. So you are blooming, resplendent in the light of the Atma. That is the purpose of human life. Only human being can attain that. No other creature can attain that. So Shiv Shakti Ekrupinya Nama. Shiv is the sun, Shakti is the food which moon needs to eat to become moon. Amma called it Amritam. In Amma's ashram, everyone who is given a name, Amritam will be always in the name. Subha Amrita, Chaitanya Amrita, Amrit Sarupananda, Amritanandamayi Devi, Pragyamrita, Jnana Amrita. Any names he will give, Amrita will always be in the name. Why it is like that? She is pointing out to that reality. Which reality? Amritam, nectar. Amritam, there is always discussion about Amritam. The gods want to drink Amrit. In the Samudra Manthan, that Amrit came and Halahal also came, and gods wanted to drink Amrit, but this Rahu Ketu started to drink. You remember that story is there, Chandrabhanu's story. Literally, there is an Amritam, which each one of us needs to drink. I am drinking every day in my meditation. Okay. So if you start drinking that Amritam, you start to bloom like a full moon, day by day, day by day, day by day. It is coming from where? It is coming from your own Atman, the sun. See, look at the moon in the sky. Sometimes it becomes full moon and then dwindles and becomes a dark moon. So what God has done, God has made the outer reality in the same way as is the inner reality. So just like the moon outside you can see, it increases and decreases. In the world around you, you will see there are moons of different qualities. Each person is at a different level of fullness. A person who is displaying more qualities of the full moon is more contented and more beautiful and more wonderful and more friendly, and you want to be their friend. If you get married to a full moon, your wife is a full moon, your husband is a full moon, your life is so blissful. Isn't it? Your home will be heaven. But if your wife is a dark moon, she will make your life miserable because she lacks everything. In the heart, there is Shudrata. Shudra, no? She is Sudra. No matter what you will give, she will always feel deprived only. When you are a full moon, you feel satisfied, you feel happy. When you are a dark moon, you are never happy. You are always frustrated. You're like a black hole. No amount of success can make you happy. So to be happy, you need to be a full moon. Or you need to be a fuller moon at least, if not a full moon. More you grow as a moon, more you become happy. Moon is directly proportional to happiness. Sun's light is directly proportional to happiness. Can you decode for me what I am saying, Sachit? When I say that when you become a fuller moon, you become more happy, what am I saying?
So does it mean that when the more you're in touch with your own self, which is the Atman, which is the sun here, or the more you are experiencing, even Atman is equal to the ultimate truth. So the more you're experiencing that truth, the more you're also being a fuller moon. And I'm also connecting it with the other parallel which you also mentioned about Shiva Shakti together, right? Shiva Shakti Ekamaya you were mentioning. So I'm just trying to connect these.
No, you're on the right path, Sachin. Correct. Huh?
Yes, sir. That is what I was thinking.
Yeah. So Shakti is nothing but the power of the Atman to make you stronger, stronger, and more fulfilled day by day. Okay. And all the good qualities blossom naturally in you as you are filled with more and more solar light. That is what is the meaning of Gayathri Mantra also. No, Gayathri Mantra is worshipping of the sun, right? But actually it is worshipping the inner sun, the Atman. It goes Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam. That Savitur is sun. Savitur means sun. Savita is the synonym for sun. Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. So it says, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. That is, Om, that is I am. I am is the name of God. So in a way, it is invoking God. Om. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. Bhu is earth. Bhuva is the astral plane. Swa is the causal plane. So Om Bhur Bhu Swa. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat means that. That means O divine. And Savitur is sun. So if you combine all these things together, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur, till here, it is saying that, O divine light, thou who illumine all the three planes of existence, the earthly existence, the astral plane existence, and the causal plane existence. There is no fourth plane of existence in the Hindu conception. So astral plane means all the heavens and all the hells. Bhur means everywhere where life is manifesting in the material way. For example, even in the whole galaxy or in the whole universe, wherever life is manifesting in a physical form, even what we call aliens, even then they are also physical forms. If they travel in spaceship or something, they are also having a physical form. So life in all the material planets which have, this Prithvi Tattva, not Prithvi, planet, Prithvi Tattva, solid matter. They experience the physical body, no matter from which planet they come. That is Bhu. Om Bhur Bhuva. Astral plane, whether heaven, hell, there may be millions of heavens, millions of hells. Doesn't matter. We're talking about the principle. So all astral planes and all the causal planes. What is the causal plane? In the causal plane, the beings who are there, they are enlightened beings. They know they are God. Amma and Sai Baba, etc., they are from that plane, causal plane. Okay. So at the causal plane, what happens is you are at the plane of cause. Means you can cause anything to happen. You can produce anything. You become a creator soul. So that sloka goes Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur. So O divine light. Savitur is divine light, O divine sun, who illumines all the three planes of existence. So Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam. I choose you. Varenya means the girls used to offer their garland to the husband whom they choose in a swamvar. So that is to marry. I marry you, I choose you. Om Bhur Bhuva Swa Tat Savitur Varenyam. I choose you, I marry you, O my Lord. Bhargo Devasya, O most delightful God. Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. In my intellect, in the cave of my mind, where my intellect resides, there you shine. No, Prachodayat. Yona is that cave. In the cave of my mind, you come and shine and illumine my mind with the divine self-knowledge, so that I become illumined by your true light, so that I become a Atma Jnani. That is the meaning of Gayathri Mantra. How beautiful that is. So if the Gayathri Mantra becomes fulfilled in you, you become a glorious sun moon, Shiv Shakti. Okay? Now I'll go quickly. So sun is the king, moon is the queen. Now look at the days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So sun is the moon, Sunday. Moon is the Monday. Sunday, Monday. Now Tuesday. Tuesday is basically, it belongs to Mars. It's called Mangalvar in Sanskrit. Mangal is Mars. So planet Mars, it depicts willpower. So when you experience yourself as an earthy body, you know, when you are a moon, which is not developed moon, what do you think? You think your light is not full enough, not complete enough. You don't feel so much confidence. So anything that you need to attain, you will attain through your willpower. That is why, you know, Mangal is called, or Mars is called Bhumi Putra. Or Bhama is called Bhumi Putra. Bhumi Putra, Earth's child. So in Earth, if you want to live in peace, you have to forge a village out of the jungle, isn't it? To protect yourself from the tiger, you have to build a house. You have to cultivate technology. So all these efforts that you make to build a happy life using your willpower, that is Mangal, Mars. So science, technology, mathematics, logic, everything belongs to Mars. Or willpower, guts, courage, strength, stamina, all that is Mars. You need that to make a happy living in Earth. Hostile circumstances of Earth, you need the Martian energy to build a good life for yourself. And that is why it is Moon's first son. Mars is Moon's first child, most beloved child. Without a strong Mars, Moon cannot have a good life. That is, you cannot have a good life. Without willpower, can you have a good life? Could sadhu have progressed so much without willpower?
No, sir.
So that is Mars. Okay, you need that. Then going forward, you need Mercury, Budhvar. Budhvar belongs to Mercury. What is Mercury? Mercury is simple intellect. How brilliant your intellect is. Your buddhi. Without buddhi, without intelligence, can you build a good life, Saju?
No, sir. Not at
So
all.
you need a sharp intellect. So buddhi. But don't you need a teacher to teach your buddhi?
Sure.
That is Brihaspati, Guru. Thursday, Guruvar. So when Mars and Mercury are ready, and Moon is also ready, loves the teacher, Moon loves the teacher, and this Moon, that student, also has a good buddhi and good willpower, then the teacher appears. So that is why saying is, when the disciple is ready, the master appears. That is what it means. When the disciple is ready, master appears. When disciple is craving knowledge, has enough intellect, has enough sankalpa shakti, willpower, the correct master, the correct teacher appears. The Brihaspati appears. Now who is Brihaspati? Brihaspati is the mantri. Mantri means the counselor, the teacher. So in Sun's kingdom, no, Sun was the king. Moon was the queen. Mars was the elder son. Mercury was the second son. Two children, Sun and Moon produced. And then the Jupiter came, the mantri came, the teacher came to teach all this family. Self-realized being came to teach this family. Then as a result of this, what happened? This family became cultured. Venus, Sukravar. So with great culture, what happens? The life becomes more beautiful, more lavish, more luxurious, more rich, more happy. Venus is happiness. Sukravar, beauty, elegance, harmony, joy, music, art, culture, everything is Venus. Everything that makes life worth living is Venus, Sukravar. It's happiness principle. Moon can become happy only by gaining more and more Venus, richness. Okay. Then what happens? The one discordant node, which is the Saturn. Saturn says, all this is Maya. You are my victim. I rule you and I will give you death. I will give you chronic disease. I will give you pessimism. I will tell you are a slave. I will give you a job in my organization and I will rule you. I'm your boss. I make all the laws. Law of karma belongs to me. If you violate dharma, I'll punish you. So Saturn is there to force you to adhere to dharma. Is Saturn evil in overall schema? No, it is not evil. Because there are many childish souls who will disturb other people. Saturn is made by God to keep them on the right path and not disturb others. So Saturn is good initially in the path till you become enlightened. But once you become enlightened, you understand what it is. If you are not enlightened, every day slow progress is the way to go. But after you become enlightened, that is not necessary. You have gone beyond all principles. You have found the root cause of the entire creation. Okay. So this is the whole family. And then Rahu Ketu, what it is? Rahu is illusion. Whenever you fall a victim to any illusion, that is Rahu. When you think false to be true, that is Rahu. Okay. So if you feel happiness is outside, that is Rahu. If you feel that you cannot live without a girlfriend, that is Rahu. Anything which is false in nature and you believe it is true is Rahu. Right? And what is Ketu? Ketu is that deep angst, that deep frustration, that deep desire to break free and find out what is true, what is real. Desire for liberation, that is Ketu. That is why Ketu always separates people from whatever they are most attached to. When any person runs the Ketu Dasa, Ketu will bring all kinds of miseries. Why? Because he doesn't want you to get bogged down on earth. It wants you to break free. It says enough is enough. He only wants the Amritam, which Rahu has drunk. In that story, Chandra Bhanu was separated into two parts. The head part was Rahu and the torso part was the Ketu. So that nectar was drunk by Chandra Bhanu, it reached till the throat. But below that, it could not reach. But Vishnu separated them and threw them opposite to one another, 180 degrees opposite to one another. So it is believed that Ketu is chasing Rahu all the time. Because Rahu has the Amritam, Ketu doesn't have. So Ketu's main hunger is for Amritam, which is the nectar of enlightenment, nectar of divine light. Okay. So this is in a nutshell the entire life process in a rudimentary manner. Now just see how beautiful it is. I mean, you need life, or when you see life, these are the elements in life, no? Like 7 notes of the music. Like, sun is what? Confidence, brightness, optimism. Moon is what? Desire for, peace, happiness. Mars, using your willpower to make a good life. Mercury, using your brains, using your intellect to build a good life. Jupiter, love for wisdom, trying to inform yourself with more and more wisdom. Venus, this happiness, all is car, bangla, luxuries, money, your bank balance, all that is Venus property. Saturn is the discipline principle. And then Rahu Ketu, illusion and the desire for liberation. So this is what it is. So in many ways it depicts the 9 elements with which life is played, the game of life is played. We'll slowly build upon this. So I'll just give 1 minute summary of what I did today. I started with the nature of mind, 3 parts: will, desire, and intelligence. And then I told that desire can be ruled by the body and the senses and the world, or it can be ruled by a higher wisdom. Higher wisdom is cultivated using intelligence and good teaching, following good teaching. And when will is informed by the higher wisdom, then the desires are guided towards healthy pursuits. But when the higher wisdom fails to develop, then the desires are influenced by the body and the senses and the environment. And then they go berserk. The person goes berserk. And then the will is employed unconsciously towards unhealthy pursuits. And we as a human being try to develop, or should try to develop, wisdom, higher wisdom, so that we don't go astray and we follow the right path. Okay. And in the process, we also discuss a lot of other things. And we also started today a brief intro to astrology. So I have given brief intro to all the 9 planets, and slowly I'll start building upon these ideas. We also discussed what it is to be on a spiritual path. What is spiritual process? What is the purpose of spirituality? To control mind, to bring mind under our control. Mind is very tricky, and as we infuse mind with more and more spirit, more and more spiritual presence, it becomes stronger and brighter and beautiful. And that is how we started discussing sun and moon and all that, right? So this is a brief summary of today's class, and very dense and very deep class today. But I'm very happy that all of you feel comfortable, and we'll meet again hopefully next Sunday. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Any final comments? Any thoughts? Sadhu, you felt happy today? It's okay?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay. Raj, how about you?
Sir, I'm enjoying, especially now we are moving into astrology. So it was always my intent to connect spiritual stuff with astrology. I think, slowly I'm actually getting into the zone of more interesting subjects now. So
Okay.
it's going on pretty well.
Okay. Sachit, how about you?
Definitely. So your question also whether, where we stand with you with respect to trust. So definitely that is deeply there, and there's a very reason, if you ask us what you have in store to share with us as knowledge, we might absolutely not know what is in store, but I completely have some very strong feeling and some deep trust which is already there. That's the reason that, we are here.
Thank you. Thank you so much about that. Because that is important, because, otherwise it's difficult, right?
Yes.
And I need that because, if I, also have some students on whom I can trust, then I can be, very strong in my decision about my future life, like how it can take shape. Because I can't be like, standing on flimsy ground, right? Because see, without the students, teachers have no meaning, right? So if students are there, and teachers have meaning. Without students, teachers have no meaning. So that's how it is. Otherwise, very easy for me to take all the VRS and simply sit at home and meditate. What is there? I mean, just wait for my children to mature a little bit more. Maybe 2-3 years for Rohan, and maybe once he's ready, maybe then I can simply hang my boots. Simply, because I had a good life and I grew, and I know that what I, gained in my life, and like any old man, we are happy and we are just retired and leading our life in peace. Even that is also very welcome. But if I have some good students also, then there is also a meaningful, activity to look forward to, and help you to mature more and more, gain more and more depth, guide you to some knowledge that will help you in that journey, right? But one thing is for sure, that if you are serious about this path and if you really love to study and grow, you will grow a lot, as you already have done, right? Raj said. How about you, Saju? Have you grown ever since we started these classes as a more mature?
Sure, sir. Sure. Certainly. Since you were asking Mr. Raj what was some changes which you have observed in behavior, because you got busy in extending this subject in further level, I didn't get an opportunity. But what I was ready with an answer is that I had a good friend of mine, sir. He was in Air Force. We joined Air Force together. We were batchmates. And this guy was a graduate while joining Air Force itself, not like us, 10+2. Then after graduation, he did commissioning, and he then from Air Force he moved on to Navy. So then what it used to happen is I was in the worker level, and this guy became an officer in Air Force. So of course he has to, some or the other way, he has to maintain a certain degree of gap. So his superiority complex worked, my inferiority complex worked, and that best friendship got terminated at that point in time. Then thereafter, even I also started chasing. I did my graduation, post-graduation, and there's a career passion I learned from this guy actually, which I was not he was from a good family background, education background. I was from a carpenter's family, so I was not much passionate about it. So what happens, sir, after this 10 years he did in Navy as an officer in short service commissioning. Then he moved on to US, did some MBA from some US reputed university in some senior leadership position. Now he is general manager of Amazon company, US branch. I think Philadelphia, somewhere, California, somewhere he is. So through my wife, very recently after retiring from Air Force, I started this LinkedIn profile. Even I also started one. So I was searching for him. So I just searched about him, and I came to know this guy is now general manager with Amazon. So, but I was not knowing, since I am new to LinkedIn, I was not knowing that if I search for somebody, that guy will also come to know that we are searching for him. So then he realized, then he came to know, and he sent me means a request. Then at that time, I wrote a letter to him, sir. This just happened 1 week back. So means this is what happened. Don't do all those things. Means something, whatever is happened, let us forget about it. It's a matter of friendship. Let us rekindle it. So the intention, why I told this story, because from where I got this guts to write a letter to this guy, or to forgive in some or the other way. By the way, if you compare the social status, I really do not have the right to forgive this great person. But still, I decided, because in one of your session you told, means if you are keeping such type of negative emotion towards a person, you would have to take again a rebirth just to fulfill that particular aspect. So then this was somewhere pinching me. Yes, I am having a very strong negative emotion towards this guy. I should dilute it and should take a first step. Then I wrote a letter, and he was also happy. So we are in touch with. This is something
So
which very recently.
you are experiencing, how karma, when you let go of karma, negative karma, heavy karma, you feel lighter, right?
Yes, sir. Now feeling very much later.
You feel lighter, right?
Lighter, sure.
Otherwise, you will be carrying extra heavy burden on your soul, right?
Sure, certainly.
Your soul has become a little bit lighter,
Little bit lighter.
and you have become a
experience.
more full moon. As a moon, you have grown. That is what growing as a moon means.
Sir,
There is more light in your moon, in your mind. Okay.
sir,
God bless you. So proud
Sir.
of you.
sir. Thanks,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thanks, Raju. Nice,
Sir,
nice
bye,
to
everyone.
nice to hear you.
Yeah.